The situation is so weird that in a time when we can do Mythic Zero dungeons, normal raids and heroic raids, the best sources of loot right now are from delves and epic battlegrounds. Yeah, that's pretty weird if you ask me. So, the point of today is to update the best gearing solutions for this week with yet another twist in the tale, because we started this week pointing out that the strongest way to get gear would have been delves because of the multiple 603 pieces of gear from the coffer keys you were using. And then we discovered about the Delver's Bounty, the treasure you can find from the bountiful delves or non-bountiful delves to get yourself a guaranteed 610 piece of gear. Then we also were aware of the fact that you could farm some honor to buy yourself a vicious bloodstone, and then this week, once it became available, you could have bought yourself a PvP socket and then farm some conquest to then buy the PvP gear to put that socket in. However, now we have come up with an even better system to get gear. Possibly the strongest, actually, yeah, the strongest at the beginning of this season. And that is by using Forged Gladiator's Heraldry. Now, this is the TLDR. You enter and win any battleground. Supposedly, you also get this by winning 4 arenas. Anyways, after you win the battleground, at the end screen for your rewards for the win, you will get an Artisans Consortium advertisement. This starts a quest already completed, you only have to go and turn it in. This completed quest gives you 9 Forged Gladiators Heraldry. This is the equivalent, the PvP equivalent of a spark. You know, the one used for crafting, except these are more than a single spark because more of them are required depending on the size of the craft. For example, 10 heraldries for a two-handed weapon, 5 heraldries for a one-handed weapon, or 3 heraldries for a single ring. So once you have 9 of these heraldries, you can get up to 12 this week, which means after the 9 you have, you can get 3 more. And these cost from the vendor, from the PvP area in Dornogal, these cost 175 each, which means if you want 3 more, you will need to find 525 conquest points. Now, players who don't PvP are already dreading this thing. They don't play PvP, they haven't played PvP in several years, the sole idea of conquest, plus they think that conquest is tied to like rated BGs or rated arenas still. No, it's a much faster thing. You can take the weekly quest to gain 1500 honor from epic battlegrounds. That already gives you 175 conquest points. Then you can also go and queue up specifically, if you don't find it in your random queue, specifically for Wintergrasp. Wintergrasp, which is an epic battleground, also once you enter Wintergrasp you will get the quest to kill 10 players of the opposite faction, and that rewards you with 250 conquest points. And now, between the 1500 honor earned weekly plus the Wintergrasp quest, you go up to 425 conquest point. Also, the first win of the day, winning your first battleground, also gives you 80 conquest points. So your 425 conquest goes up to 505. Technically speaking, all of this could be earned in a single battleground. Although 1500 honor in a single epic BG is a bit of a stretch, but you know, you can still get it done quite quickly. So with this done, you can now go to the vendor and buy yourself 3 more heraldries, finishing up with 12. You can then pick and choose which items you want to craft. You could craft 2 different one-handed weapons that cost 5 each. You could go the economical way. You could go for 2 rings, 1 necklace, and 1 offhand, since they all cost 3. So you would have all your 12 heraldries spent with these 4 items. Or maybe you could go for some sort of patchwork of picks, like a 5 cost chest, plus a 4 cost boots, plus 3 cost necklace, totaling 12, depending on what you need, what you have left to upgrade in your gear. What makes this system even better is that what we mentioned a few days ago was also the fact that, you know, you were farming honor to get yourself the vicious bloodstones, to buy yourself the PvP socket, to then farm conquest to buy yourself the PvP gear to put these sockets in. Well, now you can just put these sockets in this crafted gear, because even if it's crafted, it's still a PvP piece of gear. So you can go and pick a necklace, a ring, a belt, a helmet, a pair of wrists from the PvP crafted item, and then use that socket for that item. So it is even extra value. Now, the value is definitely also in the crafters, because in the past couple of days, as more and more players realized this strategy, the patterns and recipes for these PvP crafted items has skyrocketed. You know, these can be bought, all of them, for 7.5k honor from the vendor, or you can put them on the auction house. And so because of this, the prices went up from 5 to 10,000 gold, some of them all the way up to 60, 70, or even 80,000 gold, because of how valuable they are this week. This is now easily the best system for you to get gear on pretty much every level. It's on every level for players who might not be in a raiding guild and might not be progressing through heroic. Even for players who are progressing through heroic, many of them, most of them, won't even be getting 3 or 4 pieces of gear like the ones they can get crafted in here. On top of that, it's also better because you can handpick them, so there is no RNG involved. Even its competitor, for players not into heroic raiding, its biggest competitor is the Delver's Bounty. The treasures you can use in your delves to get a 610 piece of gear, which is the same item level as these crafted PvP items. Well, the difference is that this crafted PvP item, you get to choose which slot you want. So, for example, you are left without a necklace upgrade or a boots upgrade, and you simply get to pick that. Number 2, you get to choose the missives. So you get to choose the secondary stats of the item. And number 3, you can even pick items that can have a socket slot to also add to that an extra socket. None of this is possible with the Delver's Bounty treasure. You simply get a random piece of gear at the end of your delve. You don't choose the gear slot you are looting, you don't choose the secondary stats you're looting, and you might likely not be able to put a socket in it, and certainly cannot this week because you don't have the way to actually get a PvE socket. So that's why we said at the beginning, ironically, the best system right now to get yourself PvE gear is from PvP. And as mentioned, it's not a worry if you only hear about this now, today. If you were in my Discord, this was pointed out a couple of days ago with the instructions on what to do to get this, but it's not that because it's Sunday, for example, for you it's too late. You have to farm 60,000 honor and it's over for you. Not really. As mentioned, you can do this in an afternoon, in a couple of hours of a few battleground wins, and you get yourself all of the forged gladiators heraldries you need to get these crafts done. So it's not some very long grind required for you to get these items. It is in fact quite quick. That's why it is still worth pointing it out today in this Sunday for some extra freebie gear. And also why it's funny how grossly outdated Mythic Zero has become so quickly. You know, we started out from weeks ago with the possibility or the idea of having to farm Mythic Zeros all day because they have a daily lockout. But very quickly their 593 item level got outdated. Delves dropped 603, and you have by now like 20 coffer keys, so that's like 603 pieces of gear. Then you have your Delver's Bounty from the Delves that can give you 610. You can craft already 2 different items at 619 item level if you want to, plus you have the PvP gear now, 2, 3 or 4 PvP pieces at 610 item level. So we have really spiked up the item level power of the players quite quickly in this week. Obviously, of course, it's all funny talking about this because by next week, once Mythic Plus opens, as well as Mythic Raiding, most of this will become irrelevant for many players, right? Because with Mythic Plus open, all you have to do really is to start doing Mythic Plus 7 to get yourself a hero track gear at 610 item level. But it's definitely a help, you know, because Mythic Plus 7s are going to be tough in the first week, very tough in fact. So being able to start in that week with already 5, 6, 7, 8 different 610 item level pieces of gear without even doing heroic raids is very good. It's actually a very good system even for non-raiders. So that's why it was worth mentioning even today, even after this new trick, even after this new strategy having been known for a couple of days, it's still a very good thing to get into. Even if you think you are are, you know, late to the trick of this new system. So with this PSA, hoping all of you will make use of this to get some more fat loot this week, it is now time to leave each other on this Sunday. We are starting the goodbyes, of course, for thanking everyone for having watched the video, as well as for supporting completely for free by liking and commenting down below, as well as subscribing to the channel itself. Now, with these things out of the way, thank you guys again for watching. See you guys tomorrow, and in the meantime, just in time, I was already feeling the dry throat speech problems coming up, but I'm glad we finished the video just in time.